Hey guys, Spencer with Trucktown, and today we're going to show you how to assemble a glass watermelon light, a flush mount style, and the different variations that you can do with that. So to do this, you're going to have 3 or 4 different things that you got to buy, right? You've got your flush mount kit. That's going to come with your bulb socket, your bezel, your O-ring, your foam gasket, 2 sets of bolts. You're going to have your white rubber retainer for the backside. This is kind of that waterproof barrier that you put on the back side of the base. That's going to be separate. You're going to have your choice of your lens color, and then you've got several different LED bulb options, or you can run the old incandescent if you're into that sort of thing. All those items are sold separate because there's so many different color combinations that you can do. This is a fun light because you can do a lot of different stuff. So let's start with the bulb socket holder. There's 2 different styles of those. There's a single wire and there's a double wire. Okay, the single wire is just going to be a marker light. That's going to take an 1156 bulb, and the unique thing about these glass lens is that they ground through the base. So you'll buy this and you'll have one wire and you're like, oh, how do I wire that? This goes to your power, and then you're going to have to either mount this to something that's metal and grounding to the body, or you'll have to run a ground wire specifically to the metal base if you're mounting it on a fiberglass or plastic situation so that this light will operate. Use one of the mounting screws and just a little eyelet on your wire, and that has to be your ground so that this light can function. It's not going to turn on if you just put power to this wire, because it has to complete the polarity circuit for the electricity to run that loop, right? On the double wire base, you have 2 wires. That's why it's called a double wire base. And those 2 wires are going to do 2 different functions for that light. You're going to have a high and a low, or what you might call a stop, turn, and tail. You would also have the ability to use those color change LED bulbs on this one, where you have like a white and a red, a white and a blue, all sorts of different color combinations. But again, this one is going to ground to the base of the light, the metal base. So you can't buy this and go a positive and a negative, because it's not going to turn on. You get to go to the green to your turn, the black to your marker, and then you got to run that ground wire to the base or mount it to something that is metal grounded on the body. So now that we've covered the differences in the bases, we're going to look at how we put this together. So before you go to mount this, you're going to want to take one of these white gaskets and fish this wire through the center hole. They're kind of tough to do, but you go like so, pull all your wire through, and then you'll notice that this gasket is slightly bigger than the metal base. So you gotta line up the outside holes with the other outside holes of the gasket, because you're gonna want some of those bolt holes to come all the way through. And you kind of gotta fish these things to sit inside of this metal lip. There's a little bit more material there than there is space, but it will eventually go. And it just kind of bulges out a little bit. And you want that because when you press it all down, it's going to help seal. So the next step would be to mount this metal base to wherever you're choosing to surface mount it. So when you do that, you don't want to put any washers against the metal base of the screw or the bulb socket on the outside. You're going to want all your washers to go on whatever you're mounting it to. So just use your imagination and pretend that I'm mounting this somewhere, and that I didn't just drop a tiny washer. You'll find that to be fun as well. And you would bolt this baby down wherever you're choosing to mount. So now we're going to pretend that that is firmly mounted wherever you're going to mount it. Next, you choose your bulb. In this case, we've got a JML LED 1156 amber bulb. The 1156s have 1 node on the end. The 1157s would have 2 nodes. You're going to cam lock that into the bulb socket. Now you'll notice you've got a series of a O-ring, a gasket, and a bezel. We got to choose our light lens. For this one, we'll just do a clear. And when you have your light lens, you're going to put your O-ring on. Then you're going to put your bezel on. Last, you're going to put the foam underneath. Now this shorter set of screws, this is important, that's what holds the bezel on. And they do the shorter set so that you don't tighten it all the way down and then kind of raise the outside of this lip out. Once you have this on, it should all sit pretty much flush. again, that has to ground through the base. So that would be your finished product. That's kind of the order of operations for those seals. Thanks guys, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're at 785-460-8785, online at www.semitruck.com.